Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the October Russellville City Council meeting. I hope that everybody is enjoying the cooler weather and the lovely time of the year that we have for the next couple of months. Will be a real pleasure after the summer months. So we have a number of people here this evening, and is Pastor Flynn, is he hiding back in the back somewhere? I don't see him. Ms. Rita, would you serve as our chaplain for this evening? Please, ma'am. If you will, come forward. Will everyone rise at this time, and we'll have the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we give thanks to you for this beautiful community in which we live. And Father, we are so grateful for the men and women who are in leadership position in our city, who are willing to serve. Lord, as they make sometimes very difficult decisions, I just ask you to give them wisdom and help them, Lord, to make the very best decision for all. We pray this in Jesus' holy and blessed name. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. Do I hear anything regarding the minutes?
Motion to approve, Your Honor. Second.
All those in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? At this time, I'm going to step away from the bench here for just a few moments, and I want to recognize someone that we have in the audience that it is a true pleasure to have with us this evening. Dr. Robin Bowen. She is the president of Arkansas Tech University. Dr. Bowen is the 12th president of Arkansas Tech and the first female president of a public four-year university in Arkansas. She and her husband Doug and three children have moved to Russellville, and now we are proud to call them citizens of Russellville and Pope County. She has her education has been from across the United States, and her last tenure was at Fitchburg State University in Massachusetts, where she was vice president for academic affairs and executive vice president and provost from 2011 until she moved to Russellville and assumed the leadership of Arkansas Tech. So will you please welcome Dr. Robin Bowen.
Thank you. I won't keep you long, I promise. And I'll tell you, I'm also glad to be the 12th president, not the 13th, but that was just dumb luck on my part. I am very pleased to be now back in Arkansas. This feels like back home for myself and for my family, and I especially am happy that we ended up in Russellville. I feel very fortunate and very proud to be part of Arkansas Tech, and part of the reason that I am so proud to be at Arkansas Tech is because of the community in which Arkansas Tech resides. I know that I've said this before, and so you've probably heard this, but an institution of higher education cannot be strong unless it resides in a community that supports it. And I think that both the university and the town are inextricably tied. The university needs the town to be strong because it needs to be a place where students want to be, where faculty want to live, and it also is important that the university give back to the community and serve the community. One of the things that I was proud to find, and I'm sure the number is much higher now, but they did a study several years ago on the economic impact of the university on the region, and it was $219 million a year. That's the economic impact of the university on this region. this region in Arkansas. And again, I'm very proud of that, but again, very proud to be here. And again, I'm looking forward to working with everyone. I also, while he's not here, would like to thank Dr. Brown for his 21 years of service. I feel like I came in and got to put the cherry on top of a lot of things. He was the one who really did all the work, made the ice cream, built the sundae, and I just came in and put the cherry on top. He really transformed the campus and did many wonderful things, and I look forward to many years here and hopefully doing many wonderful things as well. Thank you.
I just want to further state that Dr. Bowen has reached out to the city. We have been in communication and in various meetings in several capacities since she has been here, and it is a pleasure to work with her. And I'm excited about the future joint effort between the city and the university as we move this area forward. So thank you, Dr. Bowen. We appreciate you being here this evening. The second thing that I would like to bring to your attention is there is a group of veterans here. Some of you may have seen that they have veterans gear and uniforms on, and they have something that they would like to share with us. And I'm going to ask the leader of the group that is here this evening, Mr. David Cohn, if he will come forward to the microphone and share some information with us at this time.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I'm not near as good a speaker as you are, so bear with me. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm a member of the VFW post, and one thing that's real close to my heart is the Vietnam Wall. I was approached a few months ago to see if we could possibly bring the Vietnam Wall to Russellville area. I've been working day and night on that since then. There's 4 different walls that are in existence out there. They travel around the countryside and go to different communities, set up and let people try to get what they would get if they went to Washington, D.C. I'm never going to be able to go there. I'm getting too old. My health's not going to do it. Likewise with a lot of the other members that we have. So we're working to bring this wall here. We realize that the city cannot do anything as far as financial to support us, but what we're doing, VFW, the Ladies Auxiliary, and the VFW Riders Group, we're putting on different programs to raise funds. At this time, we're almost ready to sign the contract to bring it here. We just want the city and the county to know, we want to know that they're behind us to do this. I have talked to the Parks and Recreation Director. He is willing to help me out to set up a spot outside on Pleasant View Park out there, and would like to bring it in sometime in 2015. What we have figured out is the amount of people that travel up and down Highway 7 and I-40 that will see this. It's going to impact the motels, the eating establishments, the service stations. Just about every business in town is going to gain something from it in the 4 days that it will be here. That's about all I can say right now. If you have any questions, I'll be pleased to answer them.
Mr. Cohn, 4 of us sitting here are veterans. Mr. Sturber, myself, Mr. Robertson, and the mayor. If I missed somebody, I'm sorry.
Thank you for your service.
Okay. Thank you. What do you need to get this here? How much money do you need to get it here?
A little over $9,000.
How much? 9,000?
$9,000, yes, sir.
My personal opinion is that as a community, least be remiss if we didn't make some effort to get it here. That's all I have for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else from the bench?
Well, yeah, is there a reason we can help out as a city? I mean, I didn't understand that part.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Is there a reason when you said the city, you knew the city could not help? I drew a blank on why could we not help?
I was told that, you know, the city couldn't help financially, they could help any other way, through other ways, allowing us to do it and such. To be honest with you, I have not asked the city.
Well, I was gathering that you were not going to ask funds. for
Are we
funds.
prohibited by?
I don't know, sir, I'm, you know,
This,
Mr.
Mr. Smith, would you kind
Right.
of?
This is, you get into giving public funds for a private organization, and that's what you have here. That's prohibited.
How much money do you have now?
right now we have almost $4,000.
When do you need the rest?
Once we get the contract signed, we have to pay the balance within 45 days of the event date. We're looking for August of 2015. That's the one time that I've been told that Pleasant View Park is not being used for softball. So that's the time that we got a couple of weeks leeway in there if we can get the date, that we can get in there and not cause any other program to be put on hold or postponed for some reason.
I
Okay?
understand. Thank
Mr.
you.
Smith, would this be a possible advertising promotion expenditure, or are they bound by that same restriction?
It could possibly be reviewed by the A&P Commission, correct?
One of the things that I did suggest to the group that came and visited with me was to make that presentation to A&P and see if they could possibly get a mini grant that would assist with that. So we will try to shepherd that thing along with Mr. Cohen and his compatriots to make that happen. Anything else?
Yeah, one question. You mentioned August of 2015, but you'll have to sign a contract sometime well before that in order to secure that particular venue coming through Russellville. When is the last date that you have to come up with the funding to secure that, to get a spot, to secure that spot
November 15th.
of this year?
Yes, sir.
And how much money do you have to have up on that, for that request?
I had to pay $4,000 plus a security deposit before I can do that. We're looking right at $5,000 before, when we sign the contract. Then the balance will be 45 days before the event date, which we're hoping is August of 2015. Okay?
Do you have a phone number that you can be reached at?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay.
Let me say also that this request, there is a form where you can contribute. It is on the city website. We did get that put on the city website. But if you have that information, Mr. Cohen, go ahead and share it with us at this time.
My phone number is 479-264-9525. And I have some of these letters and pledge forms that we will be taking to the different businesses around Russellville. Phone numbers are also on the bottom of that.
Thank you, Frank. Any other questions for Mr. Cohen? Thank you, sir. We are proud to be a part of what we can do to assist the veterans, and particularly in this one interest. And thank you for taking the leadership role in making this happen.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
all
sir.
of you for your time. Appreciate it.
At this time, I'm having a hard time seeing the witch of the West Russellville or whatever, but we do have someone that would like to come and share some information with us. So would you please come forward, Ms. Wicks?
No, ma'am, that's not what it said.
No. I said I was looking for one. Right there, go ahead. Here's the deal. I'm going to read a proclamation this evening. And I'm pleased to have Ms. McGuire with us here this evening promoting this event that's coming up.
And I'm pleased to be here.
You bet. Whereas since 1992, Main Street, Russellville has been working to revitalize the heart of our city. And whereas that same year, the first Downtown Fall Festival and Chili Cook-Off was created to bring the community together and bring back people downtown. And whereas in its 23rd year, the festival has grown to include businesses, individuals, and organizations from throughout our community and beyond to celebrate our sense of place and quality of life. And whereas activities for young and old include a chili cook-off, 5K run, tour de pumpkin, bike ride, breakfast buffet, costume contest, car and truck show, arts and crafts, pie and cake contest. Let me say, I pity the volunteers for that. I've done that before, and never mind. There are pony rides, live entertainment, great festival food, and so much more. Now, therefore, I, Bill Eaton, Mayor of the City of Russellville, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim October 25th, 2014 as Downtown Fall Festival and Chili Cook-Off Day in Russellville, and ask that all residents and people from the surrounding area come and join in recognizing and celebrating this special occasion. So, Ms. McGuire, we're glad to have you here.
Mayor, thank you very much. Sean, Ingram, do we have a picture of us before he runs off? No, not just me by myself. And Dr. Dole, I am remiss, I have not met you yet, and I can't believe this. This is our honored guest. Next Saturday, we'd love to have you. Thank
Well,
you.
Betsy, she's seen your better side.
Hallway, gentlemen, ladies, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I want to recognize somebody for some extra effort that they have put forth that has brought some notoriety to the city of Russellville. And I'm going to ask Kurt Jones, Director of Public Works, to escort Mr. Ben Gray up for some information about that award.
Thank you, Mayor. Betsy's a hard act to follow, especially in costume. So we'll try to hold up here. Ben Gray is our floodplain manager, and he has been for about 2.5 years. And Ben recently went to some training at up in Eureka Springs at the Arkansas Floodplain Management Association, and was surprised to win an award for the city. We were voted Community of the Year, or received an award for Community of the Year for our floodplain management practices for the city greater. They give out 2 awards, one for cities less than 10,000 and one for cities greater than 10,000. I'll say that, you know, Ben came back with this award and said he was a little bit surprised, but in the 2.5 years I've been working with Ben, I can say I'm not surprised at all. I've worked with a lot of different floodplain managers, and I can honestly say that I have not met another one that is more diligent about his duties as floodplain manager than Ben is, and we're very fortunate to have him over at Public Works. Some of the things that they mentioned in the award were the detention basin that we recently funded and completed, our partnership with the Corps of Engineers, and just, Ben's duties overall as a floodplain manager and the management of our city's floodplains. And it is, like I say, it's a very important duty, and one that Ben takes very seriously and diligently. And Ben?
Thank you, Ben. Mr. McCoy, are you ready for the financial report?
Mayor and council, finance report for September. General fund revenues were $865,343, 1.16% above our year-to-date projections. Sales tax receipts were $681,062. Franchise fees and permits were $29,998. General fund expenditures, total expenditures were $789,582. We're 2% below our year-to-date projections. We've received $309,878 year-to-date more than expended. Street fund revenues, operational revenues were $146,398. They're 11.6% above our projection. Sales tax receipts, we didn't have any. We reallocated those, if you remember, last month. We are still 16% above our projections. And our half-cent sales tax that's funding El Paso is $44,510. Street fund expenditures, operational expenditures were $116,062, 9.9% below projections. We had no sales tax expenditures and no capital expenditures in the street department. Economic development revenues were $98,013, and that's up due to the reallocation. $93,171 was the new sales tax, $4,842 in interest. Expenditures were $28,502. That was for mowing, the payment to the Alliance, a EEG study on West Birch, SED conference, and a Walmart summit. Capital expenditure assets were revenues were $533,571. $516,446 was new sales tax. $14,720 was refund on an airport grant. $2,404 was interest. Expenditures were $199,291. $14,856 to City Corp. $12,891 for the airport. $171,544 for the police car payments. That's the end of the report.
Any questions for Mr. McCoy?
Yes, sir. When you talk back to your economic development funds and those amounts that you called off, how does that differ? Is that in addition to the $90,000? How is that different? Is that
well,
added in?
It's in there that we paid $22,500 of the 99 pay it quarterly payments.
Right, but this amount of money is in addition to that 22.5?
It's included.
You subtract it from your 22.5?
If you subtract 22.5 from 28.5, you leave $3,020 of other expenditures.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Next item for department report, Chief Jeff Humphrey, Russellville Police Department.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. As promised, I'll keep this to my 20 minutes as you've asked me to. Mr. Stuber, this first slide is going to be for you. And you and I may be the only two people in this room that can appreciate this, but I think you'll appreciate it. That's our new air conditioner. It's installed and it's running.
Amen.
As of 3 o'clock this afternoon, we have air conditioning in the upstairs of the Russellville Police Department.
Just in time for winter.
Just in time for winter. I actually asked them to turn it off today because my office got to be about 69 degrees just as soon as they fired that thing up.
That's good.
That's good. First thing I want to talk about is calls for service. These are our calls for service for the first 9 months of this year. 15,427 calls, 911 calls. Those are calls that come into the dispatch center requesting a police officer respond. We've made 148 felony arrests as of the 1st of October, 842 misdemeanor arrests, 8,139 traffic stops, 5,079 traffic citations, 75 DWI arrests, 2,457 police reports taken, 2,485 warrants served, and we've conducted about 6,481 hours of training for our officers. It's good data. It shows that the police department is very busy, and we are. But my presentation is going to be similar to last year. Today, the most common question I get still is Russellville a safe place to live? Dr. Bowen, I'm glad you're here. And I'm going to go ahead and cheat a little bit, and I'm going to tell you that it is a safe place. But I also want to say something about Arkansas Tech University. Is Arkansas Tech University a safe campus to go to school? Absolutely. It is one of the safest campuses we have in this state. And being a police officer for almost 27 years here, I have dealt with a lot of college students through the years for various reasons. But I can tell you, attending Tech, my wife attending Tech, my children attending Tech, is a very safe campus. And you're going to see after this that Russellville is probably a safe place too. Just like last year, I'm going to compare us with the same cities as previous year, similarly sized cities in population to Russellville. They're rounded off to the nearest 1,000 population. 2013 violent crime statistics. Now, the statistics I gave earlier were 2014. These are from 2013. We always run 1 year behind in our statistics on crime data. I want you to look that the crime rate is 4. That's rounded off to the nearest whole number. That is 4 violent crimes committed per 1,000 population in Russellville. As you can see, only Cabot has a lower crime rate than we do. If you like graphs, that reflects about 99 crimes, violent crimes, that was illustrated in the previous slide. Now here's where we're not doing so well. These are crimes against property. And as you can see circled in red, 805. 805 thefts that have occurred in this city, or a crime rate of 37, which, if my math is right, is about 8 times higher than our violent crime rate. But there's going to be some good news coming out of this presentation about how we can change that number of thefts. There again, another graph of the same data as the previous slide. Most crimes in our city are crimes of opportunity. And I said it last year, standing right here. If we don't give the criminal the opportunity, he can't commit the crime. But as much as we enjoy low violent crimes, it also gives us a false sense of security that everything else is okay too. And it's not. And I've said this before. If my wife wants to go out shopping at 10 o'clock at night, she goes. I don't have any problem with that. I don't go with her because I'm afraid of her safety. But what she might do is leave her purse in the car, and when she comes out of the store, it may be gone. Here's an illustration of crimes of opportunity. Any neighborhood in Russellville could look like this. It looks like an average neighborhood. But that's the car that's going to get broken into. Of all the cars that are exposed right now, that's the one that's going to get broken into. And this is why. The door is unlocked, and there's an iPhone, which is a desirable item that someone would want. And most thefts that occur from cars are because they're unlocked and there's something visible for someone to reach in and grab very quickly. But this is not all this person's going to lose, because the person that breaks into this car is going to get the jackpot, which is a gun out of the console. 375 vehicles broken into this year, 75 firearms stolen. 2/3 of these cars were not locked. This is just this year so far. 375 cars broken into and 75 firearms stolen that are now out on the street somewhere. People keep leaving valuables in cars, and cars keep getting broken into. And it's so easy to prevent, but we don't do it. Told you, Mayor, I'd keep it under 20 minutes. That's my presentation. It's very short this year. Since I have a little bit of bonus time, I want to take an opportunity to thank you, Mayor, for appointing me as chief 2 years ago exactly. It's been that long. Mr. Irwin, I want to thank you for being our liaison. You're the first liaison that we've had who actually knows our officers, most of them, by name when you see them. You talk to them on the street, you can walk up to them and say, call them by their first time many times, by their first name. And it's nice to have a liaison like that. And as the council as a whole, you have supported me and you have supported our department. You've unyielding your support has been. And it's not always been that way in years past. And it makes my job so easy when I know that this part of it, you know, we have the politicians I have to satisfy, I have to set the citizens and the officers. And if you're keeping one happy, you've got somebody that's not happy. But so far, I think we're doing a pretty good job of keeping this together, and I appreciate your support. And that's the end of my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you, Chief Humphrey. Does anybody have any questions for the chief?
Good job.
While you got a chance?
Mayor made a good choice, Chief. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. At this time, we'll move to committee reports. Mr. Horton, do you have anything from the Finance Committee?
We do. We met on October the 7th for our regular first meeting and produced a short list of items for the council's consideration. Item 1 is considering a resolution authorizing the designing of the aquatic center, soliciting bids for construction, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to enter into the agreement, and so forth and so on. The Finance Committee recommends that in the form of a motion, but we now recognize Mr. Tripp for some additional input on that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add a motion to amend by adding to section 1. Mr. Smith, would you care to read that, please?
All right. At the end of section 1, where it says center, and there's period, the period we struck and would be added at the end of center, once a final design has been submitted and approved by the city council by majority vote, and the period would end there.
You have any questions on that?
That's on section 1.
Yes.
Read that again, please. That's the strike the period at Aquatic Center.
Right.
Okay.
Once a final design has been submitted and approved by the city council by majority vote.
Mr. Horton, is that in the form of motion as amended?
The motion to amend is, and Mr. Irwin, you second?
I did.
Okay.
Okay, so we're voting on the amendment to the original motion. All in favor? Any opposed? And now the original motion as amended. Mr. Mayor.
Okay. We do have an amended motion at this time as presented by the finance chair. All those in favor of that motion as amended, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Our second item is consideration to authorize finance director to dispose of some items that did not sell at the city auction in accordance with Arkansas Code 306. The committee recommended that in the form of a motion.
You've heard that request and motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
The committee also recommended consideration to authorize the finance director to auction some city equipment and cars through Gov Deals auction service. That's in the form of a motion.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Today, Mr. Smith said that we needed to have a resolution on this. Did you get that, Trey?
Yeah, it's,
So we have a resolution to do this.
it's in the papers that Kathy distributed.
Would you read the resolution, please, Mr. Smith, so we can complete this transaction?
A resolution authorizes the sale of personal property through GovDeals auction services and for other purposes. This resolution, if passed, would authorize the selling of the aforementioned personal property by the city through GovDeals auction services. Would authorize the mayor or finance director and city clerk to sign whatever documents are needed to do that and to list the property through GovDeals.
Do I hear a motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the resolution. Any question? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
The committee recommended that the council consider the resolution levying the millage. This we have to renew every year, and we recommended leaving that at .04 for the retired police and fire pension that we maintain ourselves. That's in the form of a motion.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Item 5 and 6 are appropriations. Item 7 is a line transfer. Do we want to handle those all at one time or separate? They are all recommended in the form of a motion, and I think everyone was there last week, so if there's questions, feel free to separate one out, but they're all recommended in the form of a motion.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor of that say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Mayor, there was an 8th item that night that is not in everyone's packet, but I think everyone was there. We discussed a resolution supporting Alderwoman Harris in her review of records for the Economic Development Commission, and to reimburse her cost for copying and to accept that as a formal council action. That was recommended in the form of a motion.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I guess I abstain.
All right. We had one abstention. Motion carries.
We met again tonight, immediately prior to this meeting. Our first item, the committee recommends that the council bid the security system in a formal bid. That was recommended in the form of a motion.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor of that proposal say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
The committee recommends that we consider the resolution to accept a bid from Rebel Services LLC for aviation gasoline tanker refurb at the airport. That is recommended in the form of a motion.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
The committee recommended accepting a bid from Clay Cole Construction of $73,900 for brush and timber clearing. That's in the form of a motion.
All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Items 4 and 5 are line item transfers. 6 is an appropriation. I think everyone was here for that discussion as well. We recommend all of those. We can separate them out if anybody cares to, but they're all recommended in the form of a motion.
Are we good?
Everybody?
All right. You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
That concludes the business of the Finance Committee, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Personnel Committee, Mr. Stuber, do you have any action?
The Personnel Committee has nothing to report at this time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Unfinished or old business. Consideration of an ordinance, number 1, consideration of an ordinance to ban street solicitation throughout the city of Russellville, recommended by department heads of the city.
Your Honor, I'd make a motion to suspend the rules, one time only and read it by title only with a short explanation for the first reading only.
Second.
We have a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only with a short explanation for the first reading only. And a second. All those in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Mr. Smith.
In orders declaring the purpose, intent, and findings on the solicitation of streets and of the city of Russellville, Arkansas, defining solicitation, prohibiting the solicitation in the streets of the city, prescribing a penalty, and for the purposes, this ordinance, if passed, would make the definitions as included in this ordinance for the solicitation. It would prohibit solicitation within the streets and highways or roadways of the city of Russellville. It would also spell out the penalty enforcement for such solicitation that is done within the streets or roadways.
Motion to adopt. Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a
I'll
second.
second, but can we procedurally? Was the original motion to suspend for the first reading only?
Right.
And read one time.
And read for the first reading only, read by title only for the first reading only.
Right, so,
So we still have the other 2 readings?
right, that's correct. Yes. Yes.
The,
That
the,
was his motion.
the ordinance will be brought back for the second reading next month. Is there a question from the bench?
I don't know, I would think we made Mr. Irwin made a motion, and then Mr. Wiley made a motion, and I seconded it, and I would think we'd move on from that. I mean, we can vote it down at this point, I guess, but I don't know, I'm just.
We had a motion to do, we had a motion and a second to read it for the first reading only.
And then there was another motion made and a second, but we did not vote on that.
Was it, should have been amended, should have been amended to the motion.
The maker of the motion has withdrawn that motion.
So
Is that the same for the second?
No.
No?
No.
We withdrawn it.
Okay.
All right, the motion has been withdrawn. It will be returned to the council for November's meeting for the second reading. Thank you, gentlemen and lady. Unfinished or old business number 2, consideration of a discussion regarding premium protein products. and we are at a discussion at this point in time. I did lay a copy of an email memo that I sent today following a conversation that I had with an official from the premium protein folks, and the information, it was following a phone call of which the individual admitted that there were some issues there with the plant, but they had invested quite a bit of money in that, and he was of the opinion that perhaps the odor had been dissipated or reduced or resolved. And I assured him that it had not. I'm sorry that the investment that had been made did not meet muster. And I don't know if there is anyone from the facility here this evening that would like to address that issue. I did advise, and I recall Mr. Richard Harris advising the manager at our last meeting to please be here and bring a superior officer from that organization to address our concerns. I don't know what to say in regard to that anymore at this point in time, but I do know that we have had a number of complaints telephonically to our office, and I have received a number of complaints from citizens throughout the city when I've been out and about. I don't know what the rest of the council's thoughts are in regard to this situation at this time.
Mayor, I had several phone calls today regarding the stench all down by the post office as well as in the valley down to where you live. That it was just really bad today.
Your Honor, it seems like since we took office in January of 2011, this has been a consistent issue, and we have, we've been in the city has been involved with this item for 4 years, nearly 4 years, and I'm not sure that we've ever gotten a serious response or answer from them, honestly. And right after we took office, there was that smoke screen about some ozone, which turned out to be too expensive, and so I don't know. I'm not sure. I think Mr. Smith may know what we can do, but I think it's probably time to make a move.
Let me say this as well. I did share with the individual, Mr. Townsend, Dave Townsend, that in my discussion with him, that the council is considering some form of order or direction for stop work at the facility. Now, the process that we will take or the manner that we will do that, I'm not sure at this point in time either, but I did advise him that we were not going to ignore this going forward, and that is the intention that was shared with me by you folks at the last council meeting. So he is aware of that. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a further response from them, but I'm open for suggestions from Mr. Smith and whatever action you folks want to take.
Mr. Smith, it'll take council action to do anything, to proceed legally?
Correct.
Your Honor, how about we invite Mr. Craig and his immediate supervisor to a special call meeting where we discuss whether or not we want to take legal action. And I mean, it doesn't smell like money anymore.
Well, I'd have to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
All right, does that seem to be the will of the council? Do you want to make a motion to, let me just say that what I will do is I will communicate with them and find out what suggested dates they would have, and then I will get back with the council if that's what you want me to do. And if you'll make that in the form of a motion, I'd appreciate it.
The motion would be that, that the mayor contact Premium Protein, obtain dates at which they could attend a special meeting where the council will consider and discuss legal action and take, move on legal action if necessary.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any
Could this happen
question
before
or
our,
comment?
could this occur before our November agenda meeting, if at all
I would
possible?
think, I would think so.
Yeah.
We will try, I will try to articulate that and make it happen before that time frame. And as you notice on down our next item, we are planning on making a change on our regular meeting. So we'll try to make that happen fairly soon. Any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Moving to new business, item number 1, consideration to change finance and agenda meeting that will fall on Veterans Day on November 11th. I think my proposal for that, unless somebody has a better idea, is just move it 1 week out on Thursday, on the following Thursday.
Here's the cut down below, Monday, November the 10th.
Excuse me, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was thinking Thursday for the council meeting. Either following Tuesday or we can make it later in the week. What?
Monday sounds good.
Well, I think Monday might too, although I'd have to look, but I think my work schedule was based on the 11th. I'd have to, that may not be that big a deal.
You want to, is the recommendation then to move it to Monday the 10th?
Motion.
I heard a motion to that effect. Any other, a second? Any other discussion? All right, you've heard the motion to move the date from Tuesday, November 11th to Monday, November 10th. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. New business 2, consideration of an ordinance zoning certain realty in the city of Russellville located at 201 South Knoxville Avenue from C2, submitted by Sandra J. Jones, to what is the other?
From M2 to C2.
Yes.
I move we suspend the rules and read one time by title only, not the first time, but one time.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to suspend the rules, read by title only with a short explanation, one time only. All those in favor of that motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
An ordinance rezoning certain realty in the city of Russellville, Arkansas, and for the purposes this ordinance, if passed, would rezone property at 201 South Knoxville Avenue as further described in the attachment labeled Exhibit A from M2 to C2.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. Any discussion further? Hearing none, would you read the roll, Ms. Collins, please?
Mr. Wiley?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. Tripp?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Stuber?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Horton?
I abstain on that.
Mr. Richard Harris?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, council. New number 3, consideration of an ordinance to amend the zoning code permitted use tables, C1 and C1B, unanimously recommended by the Planning Commission. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion to what?
Motion to
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules with title only, short explanation.
And that's what I'm seconding.
We have a motion to suspend the rules, read by title only with a short explanation. And there was a second to that. And this is just the first reading, as I
No,
understand?
no. Suspend the rules with title only.
Okay,
short
okay.
explanation.
All those in favor of that motion to suspend the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
An ordinance amending the zoning code for the city of Russellville, Arkansas, ordinance number 1966, and for other purposes. This ordinance, if passed, would amend the table of permitted uses, which is Article 13 of the Russellville zoning code, as it applies to C1, the Central Business District, and C1B, Central Business Buffer District.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Ms. Collins, would you please read the roll?
Mr. Wiley?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. Horton?
Yes.
Ms. Freddie Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Stuber?
Yes.
Mr. Robert?
Yes.
Mr. Richard Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Tripp?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. New number 4, consideration of a resolution requiring the removal or razing of an unoccupied dilapidated structure located at 1115 South Boston Avenue.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
I need to discussion on this. I
Okay.
would like council to postpone this till next meeting because I believe yesterday I found out that there may be a party of interest that need to get notice to, so I can find out from them through this property. The owners of the property have recently passed away, and there may be a claim on the estate through Medicaid, and it appears to be a very large, substantial amount, so they need to get notice per law, so I'd ask for postponement.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second on the floor.
Is this not, this is the same property that was on the agenda some 6 months ago, isn't it?
It's been on there quite some time.
So let's give him one more month. It ain't gonna kill us.
Well, according, I mean, from these documents in the back here, it appears no one wants the property, right?
Well,
That-
Mr. Trey
that's
says
correct.
there's somebody the owners approached him, and he's gonna do something with it.
He did what now? I
The
didn't
owner
hear.
approached him,
Oh, okay.
and he's gonna do something with it.
I don't think that was the case. Would you kind of
No.
explain that again, Mr. Smith?
The owners of the house, the husband and wife, I think the last one of the couple recently passed away. There's 5 children. I know one of them does not want to have any involvement in it. However, both the husband and wife received care through Medicaid, and they now have an interest against their estate, and with the house being part of the estate, they need to receive notice from the city before the city does something to the property, which they could have an interest in through the services they receive through Medicaid.
So you need the 1 extra month to make notification
I-
to Medicaid.
That's correct. I just need to notify them and let them be aware that this is going on, and then at that point, we've fulfilled the city's obligation of providing notice.
Well, could we not pass this and you notify them that we passed this and they can come sign a rehab agreement and move right on?
Well, the resolution gives 7 days to enter it after passage. I don't know if I could make contact with somebody in
7 days.
7 days in the Medicaid.
Yeah, I will withdraw my second.
I just would ask we err on the side of caution and at least provide enough time so I can at least get notice to the right official in the Medicaid office.
Mr. Horton, you gonna withdraw your motion?
I'll change my motion to table this 30 days.
Second that.
Okay, the original motion was withdrawn, and a second motion was made to table this for 30 days pending adequate time for notification. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Had one no. Mr. Stuber. New number 5, consideration of a discussion to amend the downtown master plan. Alderman Harris.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we discussed this, I guess it was a pretty hot issue a few months ago. And if you read the resolution, the city council did accept the resolution as presented, and also section 2 throws the implementation of the master plan up to the city through the Department of Public Works with no other review by the council necessary to go forward. And as we've heard in the last few months, there are some issues with the master plan in relation to the way it lays out the downtown Russellville area that is of concern to several citizens. So the discussion is just, do we want to amend this resolution to require this to come back to the city council before the master plan is implemented as presented?
You gonna make that a motion?
I will make that a motion.
I want to second it.
We have a motion and a second to amend this resolution. Is that what I understand?
That's right. That is correct.
All right.
What are we gonna amend?
And how do you propose to make that amendment? Read.
It's a section 1 that the city council will be required to review implementation of the master plan prior to implementation.
Okay. Any other questions in regard to that? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Amen.
Before we actually adjourn, I just want to say thank you to everyone who showed up here this evening, particularly our costumed elf and Dr. Bowen and our veterans who we do appreciate your service and everything that can be done to bring this Vietnam Wall to our area. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Any other comments before we leave?
adjourn, I just note that there is a letter from Ms. Bowen, Dr. Bowen, that requests sidewalks on 124 to assist the students going back and forth. Now, I got this when I came in this evening and I
Yes.
looked at it, but we haven't had any discussion on this item, so I don't know what the
This
intent
was transmitted to me by Dr. Bowen, and I was just sharing that with you. They are suggesting very strongly that we reconsider where we are on that project and move it forward. And I don't know, Dr. Bowen, if you got anything that you would like to say more in regard to that while you're... All right.
Would you be open to talking about putting a walkway over the 124 for the students to walk over so it would be safer? That would be wonderful. I would like to see something like that implemented.
So the purpose of this letter was to get this stimulated again, to move forward with what is a very needed facility. So with that in mind, we'll leave that with us and take that up possibly in our next month's meeting or down the road.
It's absolutely a welcome change, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Are you going to work on trying to get that overpass?
I'll do whatever I can. Absolutely. I'll get with Mr. Jones and we'll come up with some
I would
several
love
different
to see that.
several different options if need be. All right?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are adjourned.